The sirens wailed across Earth. People ran through the streets. Some cried. Some prayed. Some just stood still, looking at the sky. Dr. Taejin Kim didn't have time for fear. He studied the screens showing the asteroid cluster. The largest rock was almost the size of Australia. 17 smaller ones followed behind it. They would hit Earth in 82 days. "We tried everything," Taejin told the World Council members. Their faces looked pale on the video screens. Nuclear missiles failed. The gravity tractors failed. The solar reflectors failed. An old woman from Africa wiped her eyes. "How many can we save?" Taejin swallowed hard. 30%. Maybe less. The colony ships can only hold so many. "And the rest?" asked the representative from South America. "The deep bunkers might protect some people, but when the asteroids hit, the impact winter will last for decades. Food supplies will run out. The chances are not good." Up in space, Fleet Commander Ju Park watched the loading of the colony ships. These massive vessels had been built in a rush over 5 years, once the asteroid cluster was discovered. Each could hold 10,000 people and enough supplies to reach a new star system. Ju floated by a window, watching Earth below. So beautiful, so doomed. Her second-in-command, Hyunki, approached with a tablet. "Commander, we have a problem. Our sensors show 3 alien observation posts. They're watching us." "Let them watch," Ju said. The aliens had known about the asteroid cluster. They had technology that could have helped, but they had done nothing. The Galactic Council had decided Earth wasn't worth saving. Let them see what happens when they stand by and do nothing. Captain Donghyun wasn't part of the main fleet. His 20 ships were smaller, faster, and equipped with experimental stealth technology. The World Council had secretly approved his mission 6 months ago. "The main fleet will follow the established routes toward known star systems," Donghyun told his crew. "We will go the other way, into unexplored space. The aliens think they know where all humans will be. We will prove them wrong." On departure day, millions watched as the massive colony fleet rose from Earth. People waved goodbye, knowing they would die soon. The colony ships broadcast their course, heading toward the edges of known space, where the Galactic Council had reluctantly allowed them to settle. But Donghyun's ships slipped away quietly. Once they cleared Earth's orbit, they activated their stealth drives. The ships seemed to fade from existence, becoming invisible to all known scanning technology. "Course set for the outer void," Donghyun said. "We leave no trail. We make no noise. As far as the galaxy knows, we don't exist." 3 weeks later, the asteroid cluster hit Earth. The impacts were visible from Mars. Massive clouds of dust rose into the atmosphere. Firestorms swept across continents. The oceans boiled where the largest rocks fell. The alien civilizations watched with detached interest. They had known humanity for only 200 years. Humans were aggressive, unpredictable, and expanded too quickly. Many aliens felt that losing Earth would make the galaxy more peaceful. The colony fleet struggled on its journey. Without Earth's support, and with alien help limited by strict rules, the ships faced many problems. Food ran low. Equipment failed. Pirate ships from outlaw species attacked the vulnerable fleet. Within 10 years, the last human colony ship went silent. The Galactic Council met and officially declared humans extinct. They set up Earth as a memorial world. No one would be allowed to settle there for 1,000 years, out of respect for the lost species. But far beyond known space, Captain Donghyun's fleet approached a yellow star. They had traveled for 11 years, moving carefully to avoid detection. They'd lost 2 ships to space anomalies. The people were tired. The supplies were running low. "Scan the 4th planet," Donghyun ordered. "Too close to the star," his science officer reported. "But the moon orbiting the gas giant in position 6 looks promising." Donghyun studied the moon on his screen. It was large, nearly Earth-sized. It had oceans and forests. Its atmosphere contained oxygen. "Take us into orbit," he said. "Prepare the landing craft." 2 days later, Dong Yun stood on a hill overlooking a valley. The air smelled fresh. Strange birds flew overhead. The gravity was slightly less than Earth's, making everyone feel stronger. Behind him, engineers were setting up the first settlement. Habitat domes rose from the ground. People planted seeds from Earth in test gardens. Children played in the red-tinged sunlight, laughing for the first time in years. Dong Hyun looked up at the gas giant that filled half the sky. Its swirling blue clouds reminded him of Earth's oceans. "Captain," called a voice. He turned to see his communications officer, Min-seo, coming up the hill. "The last ship has landed safely. All 10,000 colonists are now on the surface." Dong Hyun nodded. "And the ships?" "Hidden on the dark side of the moon, as ordered. No signals are being broadcast. We're completely silent to the rest of the galaxy." "Good," Dong Hyun said. He watched as more habitat domes expanded in the valley below. "We have a lot of work to do." Min-seo looked troubled. "Sir, when will we contact the other colonies, or try to reach the Galactic Council?" Dong Hyun shook his head. "Not for a very long time. The aliens let Earth die. They were happy to see humans weakened and controlled. We will not put ourselves at their mercy. So we just hide. Forever." "No," Dong Hyun said, his eyes hardening. "We grow. We learn. We build. One day, humans will return to the stars. But when we do, we will be so strong that no one will ever threaten us again." He looked at the settlement, where people were already building a new life. "We are not defeated. We are not extinct. We are just waiting for the right moment to show the galaxy that humanity cannot be erased so easily." Min-seo nodded slowly. "I'll tell the people." "Tell them this is not the end of humanity," Dong Hyun said. "It's just the beginning of something new." 300 years had passed since the small fleet of human ships landed on the moon they named Hannel. The first settlers lived in simple domes and ate food grown in special containers. Now their descendants lived in great cities built into mountains and forests. The cities used little energy and did not harm the plants and animals of Hannel. Young-mi stood at her window, looking at the city of New Hope. The morning sun reflected off clear buildings that curved with the hillside. Trees grew on rooftops. Small flying cars moved between towers. Children played in parks that connected the buildings. She turned back to her desk where old records lay open. For 6 months, she had searched through the oldest archives, reading the words of Captain Dong Hyun and the first settlers. Most people didn't care about the past anymore. They were born on Hannel. Earth was just a story to them. But Young-mi had found something important, and now she needed to tell someone who would listen. Director Sunwoo was the head of the Science Council. His office was at the top of the tallest tower in New Hope. The walls were clear, showing the forests and mountains of Hannel in all directions. "Thank you for seeing me," Young-mi said, placing her tablet on his desk. Sunwoo nodded. He was old, with white hair and kind eyes. "Your message said you found something in the old records, something urgent." "Yes." Young-mi touched her tablet, and images appeared in the air between them. "These are the original fleet records from Earth. Look at these star maps." Sunwoo studied the glowing dots. "The evacuation fleet routes." "Yes, but not just our fleet." Young-mi pointed to different colored lines. "Captain Dong Hyun's 20 ships came here to Hannel, but there were other groups. At least 3 other fleets went in different directions, with the same stealth technology we had." Sunwoo's eyes widened. "Other human colonies. After all this time." "It's possible," Young-mi said. "We've maintained complete silence for 3 centuries, hiding from the aliens who let Earth die. What if these other colonies did the same?" Sunwoo stroked his beard. "After 300 years of silence, it seems unlikely they survived." "But we did," Young-mi said. "And we've advanced beyond what even Earth's best scientists could imagine. Our quantum physics, our biological engineering, our computer systems. We're not the same frightened people who landed here." Sun Wu called an emergency meeting of the Hannel Council that evening. They gathered in the round chamber at the center of the government building. 12 leaders sat in a circle, with Yummi standing in the middle. Admiral Minhee, the head of Hannel's small defense force, spoke first after Yummi's presentation. "This is dangerous thinking. Breaking our silence could expose us to the Galactic Alliance. Our ancestors were very clear about the dangers. The galaxy thinks humans are extinct," an older woman said. "That has kept us safe." Yummi pointed to her data. "But what if there are other humans out there? Don't we have a duty to find them and risk everything our ancestors built?" Minnie asked. "We're not the same people who landed here," Yummi said. "We have technologies the aliens can't imagine. Our quantum resonance drives, our biological adaptations, our AI systems. We're not refugees anymore." The debate lasted for hours. Some council members wanted to maintain silence forever. Others thought finding other humans was worth the risk. Finally, Director Sun Wu called for a vote. By 7 votes to 5, they approved a limited search. They would build special probes using their quantum resonance technology. These probes could detect signs of human technology without being noticed themselves. "We will search for our lost family," Sun Wu announced. "But we will be careful. We are not ready to face the wider galaxy yet." Far away, in what had once been Earth's solar system, a different scene was unfolding. The Galactic Alliance had turned Earth into a memorial. No one could live there, but scientists could study the dead planet. Scientist Zix was not like other members of his species, where most had 6 eyes. He had 8. His blue skin was darker than normal. His species valued sameness. But Zix was different, and that made him curious about things others ignored. He floated in his environmental suit above what had once been a human city called Tokyo. His instruments recorded the radiation levels and atmospheric composition. "Zix, return to the ship," his commander ordered through his helmet. "We're done for today." "Just a few more minutes," Zix said. "I'm getting strange readings." "What kind of readings?" "Energy patterns." Zix adjusted his sensors. "Very faint. Not coming from Earth." Back on the research ship, Zix showed his findings to the commander. "These energy waves are coming from deep space, beyond the charted regions." The commander, a tall being with 6 eyes and light blue skin, studied the patterns. "What is it?" "I don't know," Zix admitted, "but the wave pattern resembles old human technology. See this peak and valley formation? It matches the energy signature of human fusion drives from 3 centuries ago." The commander's eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of alarm. "Are you saying there might be humans out there?" "I'm saying something is generating energy that looks like human technology," Zix said carefully. "Maybe it's just a coincidence." The commander didn't look convinced. "Upload your findings to Alliance headquarters. They need to know about this immediately." As the data transmitted to the Galactic Alliance central computers, Zix looked out at the dead Earth below them. For 300 years, everyone believed humans were gone forever. What if that wasn't true? On Hannel, Yummi watched as the first quantum resonance probe launched from the hidden space facility. The small device, no bigger than her hand, would travel faster than light using principles of physics the first settlers could never have imagined. "Find them," she whispered as the probe vanished. "Find our lost family." Yummi couldn't sleep. For 18 months, the quantum resonance probes had searched distant stars. 12 probes had been sent out. 5 had stopped reporting back. 6 had found nothing interesting. But probe number 3 had just sent back data that made her heart race. She sat in her dark lab, the screens lighting up her face with a blue glow. The data kept streaming in. Energy signatures, radiation patterns, material compositions, and all of it looked human. "Come on," she whispered to herself. "Show me something clear." The computer beeped. New data appeared on the main screen. Yummi leaned forward, her eyes growing wide. "There you are," she said softly. On a planet 30 light-years from Hannel, the probe had detected a city. The energy patterns matched human fusion technology from the early days of Hannel. But the design was different. These humans had taken their technology in a new direction. Young Mi sent an urgent message to Director Sunwoo. By morning, the entire council had gathered in the emergency chamber. "Show us," Sunwoo said. Young Mi pushed her hair behind her ears and touched her control pad. The room darkened, and a 3D image appeared above the table. It showed a planet with 2 small moons. She zoomed in to show a city on the northern continent. "The energy signature is clearly human," she said. "They're using fusion power, like our early designs, but they've modified it in ways we never thought of." "How many people?" someone asked. "Based on the city size and energy use, at least several million, and there are signs of more cities on other continents." Admiral Minhee stood up. She was the oldest person in the room, nearly 90 years old. Her face showed deep concern. "If we contact them, we risk exposing both our civilizations," she said. "The galaxy has thought humans were extinct for 3 centuries. That belief has kept us safe." Director Sunwoo nodded. "True, but what if the Galactic Alliance discovers them first? They would face the aliens alone, without knowing the history or the dangers." "We need to warn them, at minimum," said Counselor Jiho. "They have a right to know they're not the only humans left." The debate went on for hours. Some wanted to send a ship immediately. Others wanted to maintain silence. Finally, they reached a compromise. "We will send a single tight beam transmission," Director Sunwoo announced. "A mathematical sequence that only humans would recognize as artificial intelligence, followed by Earth's old coordinates. Nothing that would give away our location if intercepted." Young Mi prepared the transmission herself. The message was simple: Prime members, followed by an old Earth navigation code. Any human scientist would recognize it wasn't natural. The beam was focused tightly, aimed directly at the other human world. "Transmission complete," Young Mi said, her finger lifting from the button. "Now we wait." Far away, in the gleaming halls of the Galactic Alliance headquarters, Science Director Exalter was having a very bad day. His species had 4 arms and skin that changed color with his emotions. Right now, he was turning a deep purple, a sign of stress. "Show me these reports again," he said to his assistant. The assistant, a tall insect-like being, touched the display. The first anomalous signals were detected near the Earth Memorial System. Our scientists thought it might be instrument error, but then similar energy patterns appeared in the outer rim sectors. "And these patterns resemble extinct human technology." "Yes, Director. Specifically, their early fusion designs, but with modifications we don't understand." Zalter's skin rippled with concern. "Could humans have survived somewhere?" "Impossible," his assistant said. "The evacuation fleet was tracked until the last ship went silent. The Earth bunkers couldn't have sustained life for more than 50 years. All humans are extinct." "Then explain these energy signatures." The assistant's antennae drooped. "We cannot, Director." Zalter made a decision. "Dispatch investigation vessels to both locations. If there are human survivors, the Accords of Remembrance require us to provide protection and assistance." But as Kaltor issued the orders, he knew not everyone would be happy about this development. The Galactic Council had redistributed all former human territories centuries ago. If humans still existed, those claims would be questioned. The next day, Zaltor attended an emergency council meeting. Representatives from 27 species argued loudly. "These signals prove nothing," said the delegate from the Kral Empire, who now controlled what had been Mars. "It's a natural phenomenon. If humans do exist, they belong under Alliance protection," argued another delegate. "The humans were dangerous," hissed a reptilian counselor. "Their extinction was regrettable but convenient." Zalter spoke up. "The Accords are clear. If human survivors exist, we must protect them. The Accords also say we must not interfere with developing civilizations," countered the Kral delegate. "We should observe only, not contact." In the end, they compromised. Research vessels would investigate, but from a distance. No direct contact unless absolutely necessary. As the meeting ended, Xalter noticed several military representatives speaking quietly. He didn't need to hear them to know what they were planning. Some powers would prefer that humans remain extinct, even if they had to ensure it themselves. Back on Hannel, Yummy waited. Days passed with no response from the other human world. She began to worry that the transmission had failed, or that the other humans had chosen not to respond. Then, 34 days after the transmission, her computer alerted her in the middle of the night. A message had arrived. A tight beam transmission aimed directly at Hannel. She ran to her lab in her sleek clothes, not bothering to change. Her hands shook as she decoded the message. It was short, just 5 words. "We are not alone anymore." Yummy cried as she called Director Sunwoo. After 300 years of hiding, of believing they might be the last humans in the universe, they had found others. But as the council gathered to discuss this historic moment, Admiral Minhee brought troubling news. Long-range sensors have detected ships moving toward both our world and the newly discovered colony, she said. They appear to be Galactic Alliance vessels. They found us. Jiho stood by the window of the diplomatic ship, watching the stars move past. After 300 years of hiding, he was about to show humanity to the galaxy again. His hands shook slightly. "Are you scared?" asked Dohyun, who stood next to him. "Yes," Jiho admitted. "Our ancestors hid for a reason. The aliens let Earth die." Dohyun nodded. His people from Novaterra had been as surprised as the Hannel colonists when contact was made. Both colonies had thought they were alone for centuries. "We found 2 more colonies," Dohyun said. "Avalon and Concordia. 4 human worlds, all hiding from the galaxy." "But not anymore," Jiho said. "The Alliance found us. Hiding is no longer an option." Their ship approached Proxima Centauri II, where the Galactic Summit was taking place. It was the biggest gathering of alien species in 100 years. All 27 major civilizations had representatives there. "They don't know we're coming," Jiho said. "Ambassador Xaltor is the only one who knows." The blue-skinned alien had contacted them after discovering their worlds. Unlike many in the Alliance, he believed the Accords of Remembrance should be followed. Humans should be protected, not feared. "He's taking a big risk," Dohyun said. "If this goes badly, his career is over." "If this goes badly, much more than his career will be at risk," Jiho replied. Their ship landed on a special pad, away from the main spaceport. 6 humans exited, 3 from Hannel and 3 from Novaterra. They wore simple clothes, not the fancy uniforms or robes the aliens might expect. Ambassador Xalter met them at the landing pad. His skin was turning purple with stress. "Are you ready?" he asked. "The summit is in session. I'm giving my report now." "We're ready," Jiho said. He looked at the other 5 humans. All nodded. They walked through quiet hallways, guided by Xalter. No other aliens saw them. Finally, they reached a set of large doors. "Wait here," Xalter said. "I'll signal when it's time." Inside the summit chamber, Xalter stood at the speaking platform. His report was boring. Trade numbers, resource allocations, security updates. The representatives from 27 species were barely listening. Then Xalter said something that made everyone pay attention. "And finally, I must report a significant discovery. A species once thought extinct has been rediscovered." The chamber grew quiet. Xalter's skin turned a deep blue, showing his nervousness. 300 years ago, we believed humans had died out completely. We were wrong. Before anyone could respond, Xalter pressed a button. The large doors at the back of the chamber opened. 6 humans walked in. The chamber erupted in noise. Some aliens stood up. Others backed away. Many shouted, "Impossible! A trick! Those can't be real humans. Genetic copies, not true humans." Jiho walked to the center of the room. His heart was beating fast, but his voice was strong. "We are the children of Earth," he announced. And we have returned. The next 3 days were the most intense of Jiho's life. The humans were moved to special quarters in the summit building. Guards were posted, officially for their protection, but Jiho knew they were also there to watch them. Each day, the humans appeared before the summit to answer questions. How had they survived? Where had they been? How many were they? 4 colonies exist, Jiho explained to the stunned representatives. Hannel, Novaterra, Avalon, and Concordia. Together, we numbered nearly 2 billion humans. Impossible, shouted a reptilian delegate. The evacuation fleet couldn't have carried that many. We started with small numbers, Do-Yun said. A few thousand on each world. We grew over 3 centuries. The questions kept coming. Why had they hidden? What were their intentions now? Did they want revenge for Earth? We hid because we feared for our survival, Jiho said honestly. The Alliance let Earth die when it could have been saved. We didn't trust you with our existence. This caused angry shouts, but Jiho continued. We don't seek revenge. We seek recognition. We want our place in the galaxy again. On the 3rd day, the humans demonstrated their technology. This caused even more shock than their appearance. Do-Yun showed them the quantum resonance drive that allowed ships to travel faster than any Alliance vessel. Jiho presented medical nanobots that could cure diseases that plague many alien species. Another human revealed AI systems that worked on principles no alien scientist had discovered. How did you develop these technologies? Asked a plant-like being. You were primitive when Earth fell. We developed along different paths, Do-Yun explained. Necessity and isolation forced us to think in new ways. When you have no one to help you, you must solve your own problems. The political discussions were the hardest. Many species had taken over former human territories after Earth's destruction. Planets like Mars, Venus, and the moons of Jupiter had been colonized by alien civilizations. Those were human worlds, Jiho said firmly. We want them back. Impossible, shouted the Kral delegate. We have lived on Mars for 200 years. And humans lived there for 100 years before that, Jiho countered. The debate raged for days. Some species threatened war if humans tried to reclaim their old territories. Others saw opportunity in allying with humans and their advanced technology. Privately, Jiho met with Zalter, who had risked everything to bring humans to the summit. The council is split, Zalter said. Half want to welcome humans back. Half fear your return will disrupt the power balance. What do you think will happen? Jiho asked. Zalter's skin turned a thoughtful green. I think they will recognize your right to exist, but reclaiming your old territories will be harder. What about Earth? Earth is different. It's a memorial world. No one lives there. The council might allow humans to return there as a compromise. On the final day of the summit, the vote came. By a narrow margin, the Council officially recognized humans as a living species with rights under the Galactic Accords. Humans would be allowed to keep their 4 colony worlds and could establish trade with other species. And most importantly, the Council voted to return Earth to humanity. As Jiho walked out of the chamber, he looked at his fellow humans. Their ancestors had flowed into the dark 300 years ago, thinking humanity might be finished. But they had survived. They had grown stronger. And now, against all odds, they were going home. The sun rose over Earth's new dawn. 5 years had passed since the Galactic Summit, where humanity had shocked the galaxy by revealing they still existed. Now, Earth was coming back to life. Minji stood on a green hill, watching workers plant cherry trees in the valley below. The air smelled fresh and clean. Birds sang in the distance. It was hard to believe that just 5 years ago, this land had been dead and covered in dust. Beautiful, isn't it? Asked Jinwoo, who had just climbed the hill to join her. Minji nodded. As president of the Human Federation, she had visited Earth many times during its restoration, but each visit still filled her with wonder. I remember seeing pictures of Earth as a child, she said. A dead world, destroyed by asteroids. I never thought I'd stand here and breathe its air. Jinwoo smiled. Our ancestors would be proud, not just that we survived, but that we came back stronger and wiser. They watched as the workers finished planting the young trees. Each one carried genetic material saved from Earth 300 years ago. The workers used special tools developed on Avalon that helped plants grow faster and stronger. Each colony brought something special to this project, Minji said. Hannel's quantum technology cleared the asteroid debris from orbit. Novaterra's biological science restored the soil and water. Concordia's AI systems monitor the ecosystem. Avalon's materials make the new cities possible. United, we're stronger than humanity ever was before, Jinwoo agreed, and more careful about our place in the galaxy. A small ship flew overhead, circling before landing in a field nearby. It carried visitors from the Galactic Alliance, scientists who had come to study Earth's restoration. More observers? Jinwoo asked. Minji nodded. They come every week now, some to learn our methods, others just to see that it's really happening. The Human Federation had quickly become important in galactic politics, not through war or threats, but through sharing their unique technology. Human medical science had cured diseases that had troubled alien species for centuries. Human quantum drives had made space travel faster. Human AI systems solved problems in new ways. Did you ever think we'd be where we are now? Jinwoo asked. When we first revealed ourselves at the summit, I thought war was certain. Minji remembered those tense days well. Some alien species had wanted to attack the human worlds immediately, fearing their return would change the power balance. Others had seen opportunity in new allies with advanced technology. We were lucky, she said, and smart. Offering to share our medical advances right away showed we came as friends, not enemies. They walked down the hill toward a waiting car. It would take them to New Genesis City for the day's main event. The city rose from the plains like a dream. Clear towers caught the sunlight. Green plants grew on every building. The streets were wide and clean. At the center stood the new United Nations Plaza, where representatives from all human colonies and many alien worlds would gather today. It looks nothing like old Seoul, Jinwoo said. No, Minji agreed. But that's good. We're not just rebuilding the past. We're creating something new. The plaza was already full when they arrived. Humans from all 4 colonies mixed with beings from across the galaxy. Tall, insect-like aliens stood next to furry creatures with 6 limbs. Floating gas beings hovered near reptilian diplomats. All had come to mark 5 years since Earth's return to human hands. Minji took her place on the speaking platform. Above, the dome was clear, showing both blue sky and the stars beyond, visible even in daylight thanks to special materials from Avalon. Welcome, friends, she began. 5 years ago, we started a journey together. Earth, once thought lost forever, is returning to life. She looked at the mixed crowd of humans and aliens. 3 centuries ago, humanity faced extinction. The asteroids that struck Earth nearly ended our story. But small groups escaped, found new homes, and built new lives in secret. Minji gestured to representatives from each human colony. Each colony took a different path. Hannel mastered quantum physics. Novaterra advanced biological science. Concordia created new artificial intelligence. Avalon developed amazing materials science. Apart, we each grew strong in our own way. Together, we are remaking our old home. She paused as translators converted her words for the alien guests. But we didn't just learn science in our time away. We learned wisdom. We learned that hiding from problems doesn't solve them, that fear makes poor decisions, that even past enemies can become friends. Many alien representatives nodded at this. 5 years of working with humans had changed old views. The medical cures, the new technologies, the fair trade agreements, all had built trust where fear once lived. Look around you, Minji continued. This city is built with materials from all 4 human worlds and designed with help from 6 alien species. The plants in our gardens include gifts from across the galaxy. The air we breathe is cleaned by systems humans and aliens created together. She gestured to the sky above, where stars twinkled beyond the atmosphere. The galaxy once thought humanity was gone. Now they know the truth. We were never defeated, only waiting for the right moment to return. Not in conquest, but in collaboration. Not seeking revenge, but offering vision. A cheer rose from the human section of the crowd. Several alien species made their own sounds of approval. "This is just the beginning," Minji said. "Earth's rebirth shows what we can do together. Old wounds can heal. Dead worlds can live again. Ancient enemies can work side by side. This is humanity's true legacy to the stars." As she finished speaking, the cherry trees that had been planted that morning began to glow softly. Special organisms from Novaterra made the trees shine with gentle light as darkness fell. The effect spread across the valley, moving up the hillsides like flowing water. Earth was alive again, and humanity had returned to the stars not as conquerors or refugees, but as builders and healers. The light of the trees seemed to answer the light of the stars above, a new conversation between Earth and the galaxy that would continue for centuries to come. The end.